Okay, I want to thank you all for joining me today. We're here, we're live. If you can all hear me clearly, please drop a one in the live chat and then we can get today's show started. And also, while I'm waiting for the ones to come in, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. Please hit the like button on this video as well so that YouTube will recognize that people are interested in this content and that it will permeate throughout the algorithm so YouTube can push this video out to those that they feel need to see it. And also, please make sure you share this video on your social media platforms as well so everyone knows that I'm currently live, and it also has the same effect within the YouTube algorithm. So I see the ones are starting to come in. So let's get into today's live stream. So as many of you can see, today's title of tonight's live stream is Marianne Williamson's campaign crumbling faster than Kamala Harris's 2020 bid. Her campaign is crumbling and crumbling quickly. Now, as it pertains to Marianne Williamson, it wasn't too long ago that I did a live stream on Marianne Williamson concerning the fact that she did not have reparations prioritized on her website. When you clicked on the reparations link, it took you to a dead link, and then sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't there. And after my live stream on Marianne Williamson's lack of prioritizing reparations on her platform, within the hour, the correction was made. So, okay, fine, no harm, no foul. Things happen, right? But even outside of that, I've always had my suspicions of Marianne Williamson. I just never really cared for her too much. I remember there was another time as well. It was a few years back. I believe it was when she was running for president in 2020, I believe it was. She did an interview with Antonio Moore. And in the interview with Antonio Moore, if I remember correctly, which I believe I do, he made reference to HBCUs, and she didn't know what an HBCU was. That to me was very alarming. It wasn't a red flag, but it was very alarming, and I was taken a step back because of that. But the most recent debacle that she got into a few months ago is what really pushed me away from Marianne Williamson. Many of you know about this already, some of you may not, but it wasn't too long ago, maybe about 2 months back, when Marianne Williamson came to South Carolina and Marcel Dixon went to where Marianne Williamson was to see what her campaign was all about and to speak with her. Within the exchange that they were having about reparations for the descendants of American slavery, Marcel was listing off all of the people and all of the groups, I should say, that the United States government has paid reparations to and continues to pay reparations to, right? He was going down this list. And when he came to reparations for her people being the Jays, her people being the ones who Kanye West is having trouble with, when Marcel Dixon stated a point of fact that the United States government in 2014 felicitated reparations for her people, she lost it. She got completely unhinged when he acknowledged and presented that point of fact to her. She got unhinged and she started calling Marcel Dixon a liar. She said that it wasn't true, that the United States government in 2014 did not facilitate any type of reparations to her people and the survivors of World War II, we should say. And I just want to play a snippet of that exchange for you all right now so that you can see she got so unhinged that she even proceeded to approach Marcel aggressively and then caught herself in the middle of doing so. And also, just so you know, I made a few edits because YouTube is sensitive when it comes to these folks and saying their name online. So if you hear a couple cuts in and out of the video, I had to do that just to protect today's live stream. But check this out and have a listen to this.
That's not anti. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. Holocaust survivors are getting reparations. That is not anti. That's the
I
truth.
honor you for standing up for your ancestors.
And I will continue to do so, and standing up for my ancestors means speaking the truth. Holocaust survivors did get 14 trillion facilitated. That is a fact. That is a fact. I don't know what it meant. All I know that my ancestors have not gotten a penny. My ancestors have not.
Wow, look at how she charged Marcel. Just like Carla Lockhart said, she charged at Marcel. Completely unhinged. Let me rewind that back just a little bit before we get into some more information. But she approached him so aggressively.
I don't know what it meant. All I know that my ancestors have not gotten a penny. My ancestors have not gotten a penny. That's all I know. And it's an insult for the American government to facilitate a facilitation of payment to Holocaust survivors while my great-grandfather is still alive and he fought to save the.
So what happened after that is because she was calling Marcel a liar, right? And she was saying that the United States government in 2014 did not facilitate reparations for her people. Marcel proceeded to go on his phone and actually pull up the article and read the title, read the subtitle, and I believe he even read maybe a paragraph or two word for word verbatim to prove the point that that is exactly what the United States government did. But like I said, that was more than enough for me at that point. The way that she came completely unhinged at a point of fact that her people received reparations by way of it being facilitated in 2014 by Joe Biden and Barack Obama, she lost it. And it appears this nature of her being unhinged is also not just simply an issue of you addressing reparations for her people and she wanted to act like it didn't happen. But this seems to be also the same way that she runs her campaign and how she treats her campaign staff. The way she charged Marcel is the same type of attitude that she carries with her, with those concerning those who work for her and are working with her, which is leading to numerous people resigning at a rapid pace in an attempt to get as far away from Marianne Williamson as possible. And this is something that is also very reminiscent of what happened with Kamala Harris's campaign in 2020. Now, I've made references to this article before, so I'm not going to go too deep into it and read it off. But as you can see right here, right, as you can see, I just pulled it up on your screen, and give me just a moment while I scroll over to that side. This is a New York Times article, and the article is titled "How Kamala Harris's Campaign Unraveled." Miss Harris is the only 2020 Democrat who has fallen hard out of the top tier of candidates. She has proved to be an uneven campaigner who changes her message and tactics to little effect and has a staff torn in factions. As you're going to see as we continue on, this is the same situation that Marianne Williamson has going on right now with her staff and with her campaign. And concerning Kamala Harris, this is something that has followed her throughout the time that she's even been vice president. As you can see here in this political article that I'm pulling up for you right now, not a healthy environment. Kamala Harris's office rife with dissent because her campaign, her office is not a healthy environment. She treats her staffers with the level of disrespect that we saw Marianne Williamson treated Marcel Dixon, right? And here's another one from the Washington Post speaking on this same issue of her not being able to keep staffers. Kamala Harris, staff exodus reignites questions about her leadership style and her future ambitions. Now, as we fast forward over to Marianne Williamson, we see a lot of the same thing. As you can see here in the political article that was pulling up right now, Marianne Williamson loses top 2 campaign officials in a matter of days. Another article reads here, Marianne Williamson loses second campaign manager in 2 months. And as you're going to see moving forward in the next article, one of the issues is that just like Kamala Harris, her priorities are not in order, right? And just to highlight how her priorities are not in order, I'm just going to scroll down just a little bit here so I can read some of this for you, right? Williamson is running a long shot campaign in the Democratic primary, her third bid for public office since 2014, and hit a polling high of 9% in a Fox News Democratic primary poll. But since the campaign launched in March, staff staff have been fleeing the team. There have been at least 7 departures in the last month. The campaign raised less than $1 million in the first quarter of 2023, and it's not running any broadcasting advertisement. Williamson has been on the campaign trail for at least several weeks. Instead, well, I'm sorry, Williamson hasn't been on the campaign trail for the last several weeks. Instead, she's been doing virtual events so she could be in London for the birth of her first grandchild. She has been hosting online roundtables, which she calls firelight chats, but has not traveled to any of the early voting states since April. So this woman isn't even here in the country, let alone the fact that she's unable to raise money for her campaign. And as you can see, this is going to carry over here in the newest article that's been released on Marianne Williamson, titled Marianne Williamson Keeps Bleeding Staff. 6 more depart in an internal feud. And before I get into this, there are 141 of you in the live chat right now. Please make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And also, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms as well. And thank you very much. Make sure to give my thank yous to Theodore Pierce for contributing to today's show. Thank you very much, Theodore. You are the first person to contribute to today's live stream. I appreciate all the support that I've been given on this channel for the work that I put in. Theodore said, keep doing this show. I definitely will, Theodore. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into this article here. Once again, it's titled Marianne Williamson Keeps Bleeding Staff. 6 more depart in internal feud. And what I'm going to highlight here for you right now is the fact that just like how you saw she ran up on Marcel and can't take any type of criticism, despite the fact that Marcel wasn't even criticizing her, he was just making a point of stating a point of fact, she responds the same way with her staff, feeling as if she's attacked if you have the audacity to simply make an observation or attempt to correct her where she may be wrong or having a misstep. So I want to go to a few highlighted points really quick so I can show you this. Now, many people have been getting fired. Many people have been resigning. And one of the reasons that I'm going to get into right now, as you see highlighted, is because whenever when she's confronted, she feels attacked. Right here, it reads off, Williamson was confronted by aides about her campaign priorities. As I showed you earlier, she's out in London. She's not on the ground doing any type of real groundwork in the states that she needs to be doing groundwork in. And she's also not making any money for her campaign and not running any ads. So she was confronted by her campaign staffers to get her priorities in order. The staffers said they were concerned that too much attention was being placed on social media and not enough on getting Williamson's name on the ballot beyond New Hampshire and South Carolina. Each state has their own laws and requirements, and typically expert consultants are hired to handle the specifics to get a candidate on the ballot. So understand, this is her third time running for president. You would assume that getting her name on ballots wouldn't be an issue. You would assume that she understands how this process works by now. Granted, this is her third time doing this, but clearly she doesn't because she's not taking this election seriously. Her priorities are out of order. This is literally just a grift for her. And even her campaign staffers say that by the end of this article, literally using that word. Because as of right now, she's only focused on 2 states, neglecting everything else, only running social media, only appearing on social media, paying attention to social media, and not doing any real groundwork. Now, here's how Marianne Williamson responds to this very legitimate critiques of her campaign by her staffers. During that meeting, there was just a vibe that she felt attacked, kind of like how she felt attacked by Marcel Dixon for simply stating a point of fact. After the staff meeting, Williamson told staffers that she felt ambushed by her own team. Is that not very reminiscent of the video that we saw at the beginning of this live stream? 2 of the 4 people, including another current staffer, told Politico, adding that she hasn't acted on their concerns about ballot access. So Marianne Williamson is a woman who is not concerned about taking anybody's advice on anything or hearing anything that anyone has to say, right? She didn't listen to anything that was said. One of those people said, clearly because the people who expressed frustration were fired. Williamson's campaign faces a number of hurdles beyond ballot access. The Democratic National Committee has decided not to host debates with President Joe Biden's primary challengers. In addition, there has been consistent staff turnover, including several campaign managers, coupled with money worries as the campaign lags behind her fellow Democratic primary opponents. 2 of the 4 people told Politico that Williamson is likely to report less than $1 million in donations on her next quarterly financial report. So last quarter, she reported under $1 million. This quarter, she's also getting ready to report well under $1 million because she's not a serious candidate. She's not taking this seriously. And you're going to see why she's not taking this seriously with the last sentence of this article. Williamson registered significant early support, polling about 10% in surveys, but there haven't been any gains since her launch. The team is now operating with a skeletal staff of about 12 people as Williamson increases her campaign events. So she's firing so many people, and so many people are walking away that she's now operating on a skeleton crew, pulling in less than $1 million every quarter, expecting to win a presidential election. But we all know at this point, based off of all the information that we have in front of us, that this isn't a serious presidential candidate. This is a grift because even her campaign staffers are saying the same thing. And I want to zoom into this last quote right here because it's not just, this is literally what they're saying, right? If you're just thinking about New Hampshire and South Carolina, because remember, New Hampshire and South Carolina are the only states that she's currently on the ballot in. If you're just thinking about New Hampshire and South Carolina, then this is a grift, one of the people said. One of the people being her staffers. Her own staffers are literally calling Marianne Williamson's campaign a grift. Now that's a first. That's a first. People like me might call it a grift. Many of us online may say that, and many of us have said that. But the thought that one of her own campaign staffers is calling her campaign a grift speaks volumes and says all that needs to be said about Marianne Williamson. And with all that being said, that does it for today's stream. So there are 179 of you in here right now. Please make sure you hit the like button On your way out, subscribe to the channel if you're new to it. Also, make sure you share this video on your social media platforms as well. And thank you very much for those of you who contributed to today's stream. And until next video, have a safe night and a great evening. Peace.